Ladies, let me tell you something. When a man starts pulling away, acting like he doesn't see your worth, the worst thing you can do is chase him. Oh no, we don't do that here. We don't beg, we don't plead, and we definitely don't lose sleep over a man who's forgotten who he's dealing with. Instead, you do this. You disappear, you pull back all of your energy. No calls, no texts, no how are you messages. You become a mystery. You become the woman he once had access to but suddenly can't reach. And trust me, nothing shakes a man more than realizing he's lost something he thought was guaranteed. When someone starts to pull away, the instinctive reaction for many is to chase, to seek answers, to reach out in hopes of restoring what once was. But this is the biggest mistake you can make. The more you push, the further he will pull away. Instead, the most powerful thing you can do is silence, absolute intentional silence. This is not about playing games, it's about reclaiming your power, your dignity, your self-worth. Silence is powerful because it shifts the energy. When you remove yourself from the equation, you force the other person to feel your absence. And trust me, they will feel it. People take for granted what they believe will always be there. If you have always been the one to reach out first, to check in, to fix things, then your sudden silence disrupts the dynamic. It creates an emptiness that wasn't there before, a space where he is left wondering why you're no longer chasing. In that space, something very important happens. He starts to think. At first, he might enjoy the quiet, believing that you've finally given up the nagging or that you've accepted the situation. But as time goes on, the silence grows louder. So he begins to notice that you're not reaching out, that you're not checking in, that you're not waiting for him. This realization does something to the male mind. It forces him to question, to analyze, to wonder. Why hasn't she called? Why hasn't she texted? Is she mad? Has she moved on? These thoughts start creeping in, and suddenly the power dynamic shifts. You are no longer the one waiting for him. He's now waiting for you. When you step back and go silent, you also create space for yourself. This is crucial because it allows you to regain emotional control. It's easy to get caught up in the whirlwind of emotions, to let anxiety drive your actions, but silence gives you clarity. It helps you see things for what they really are, rather than reacting based on fear or desperation. You start to realize that the person you're so afraid of losing should be just as afraid of losing you. During this period of silence, the key is to resist the urge to break it. There will be moments when you'll want to check in, to send a casual message, to remind him of your presence. Don't do it. Every time you reach out, you reset the clock, and he learns that he doesn't actually have to make an effort, because you will always be the one to do it for him. Let him feel your absence long enough for it to mean something. Silence also allows you to regain your mystery. In the beginning, when he was drawn to you, it was because there was something intriguing about you, something he wanted to discover. But when you're always available, always responding, always trying to make things work, that mystery fades. By pulling back, you reintroduce that intrigue. He starts to wonder what you're up to, who you're with, and whether he still has a place in your life. Another powerful aspect of silence is that it forces him to take responsibility. When you stop reaching out, he has to confront the reality of his own actions. He has to decide whether he values you enough to make a move. If he truly cares, he will reach out. If he doesn't, then you have your answer. Either way, you win, because the last thing you need is to be in a situation where you're the only one putting in effort. The hardest part about silence is the patience it requires. It's not easy to sit with uncertainty, to fight the urge to seek closure or reassurance. But trust that if he truly values you, he will notice your absence. And when he does, he'll come back, not because you begged or chased, but because he realized what he lost. By choosing silence, you are choosing yourself. You are refusing to settle for one-sided love, for breadcrumbs of attention. You are making it clear that you are not an option, but a prize. And when you move like a prize, the right man, whether it's him or someone better, will do whatever it takes to win you back. When someone pulls away, it's easy to become consumed by thoughts of them. You overanalyze every interaction, wondering what went wrong, what you could have done differently, and how you can fix things. But the truth is, focusing on someone who is not prioritizing you is a waste of your time and energy. The real solution isn't in trying to get them back. It's in shifting your focus entirely. Instead of pouring all your energy into someone who is unsure about you, redirect that energy back into yourself. When you start focusing on yourself, something incredible happens. You begin to rediscover who you are outside of the relationship, outside of the pain, outside of the longing. You remember the things that make you happy, the passions you set aside, the dreams you put on hold. Instead of sitting around waiting for a text or replaying old conversations in your mind, you start investing in your personal growth. You hit the gym, you take up that hobby you always wanted to try. You spend time with friends who uplift you. You step into the best version of yourself, not for him, but for you. Men are naturally drawn to confidence, to a woman who knows her worth and lives her life on her own terms. The more you invest in yourself, the more you radiate that energy. Instead of being the woman who is waiting by her phone, you become the woman who is too busy enjoying her life to even notice he's missing. And that shift is magnetic. He will sense it. He will see it. He will wonder why you are no longer affected by his absence. This isn't about pretending to be happy or using distractions to mask the pain. It's about genuinely leveling up mentally, emotionally, and physically. When you prioritize your self-care, your glow-up isn't just external. It's internal and it's undeniable. People who invest in themselves exude a certain presence, a certain energy that draws others in. And that energy will do more to make him take notice than any words ever could. Another important part of focusing on yourself is breaking the attachment. When you're constantly thinking about someone, you create an energetic pull toward them. But when you shift your attention back to yourself, you take back that energy. You reclaim your power. Instead of being emotionally dependent on his validation, you become secure within yourself. And that security is what makes you truly irresistible. This is also the time to remind yourself of your standards. Ask yourself, do I really want to be with someone who makes me question my worth? Someone who pulls away instead of stepping up? When you focus on yourself, you start to see the situation for what it really is. You stop making excuses for him. You stop accepting less than you deserve. And when you hold yourself to a higher standard, the right people will either rise to meet it or remove themselves from your life. Either way, you win. As you continue to grow, you'll notice something interesting. The moment you stop caring about whether he comes back is usually the moment he does. When he sees you thriving, when he realizes you no longer need him, that's when his curiosity is piqued. That's when he starts to miss you. Because men don't miss women who beg, who chase, who make it easy. They miss the ones who walk away, who elevate, who become even better without them. But by the time he comes back, the question is no longer whether he wants you. It's whether you still want him. Because when you truly focus on yourself, you reach a place where you no longer settle. You reach a place where you understand that you were the prize all along. And when you embrace that mindset, you stop worrying about whether he will return because deep down you know that if he doesn't, someone better will. Men are wired to want what they can't have. It's not about playing games. It's about human nature. The more accessible and predictable something is, the less value it holds in their mind. When something feels too easy or guaranteed, it becomes ordinary. But when something is just out of reach, when there's a sense of challenge, it suddenly becomes more desirable. This is exactly why pulling away and focusing on yourself makes you more attractive than chasing ever will. When you remove your energy, attention, and presence from someone who has been taking you for granted, it disrupts their expectations. They are used to you being there, responding quickly, checking in, and making sure the connection stays intact. The moment you stop doing that, they feel the shift. At first, they might not react. They might even assume you'll come back, just like before. But as time goes on and they realize you're not chasing, something in their mind changes. They start to wonder why. Men are naturally competitive, and they thrive on the idea of earning something. When you make yourself too available, they don't feel the need to work for you. But when you pull back and create distance, they start feeling the loss. That's when their curiosity kicks in. Why isn't she calling? Did she meet someone else? Is she over me? These thoughts create a sense of urgency. Suddenly, the same woman they were unsure about becomes the one they can't stop thinking about. The key here is understanding that attraction isn't just about looks, it's about energy. When you prioritize yourself, build your confidence, and refuse to chase, you send out a powerful message. I am valuable. I am not waiting around for anyone. If you want me, step up. That energy is magnetic. It makes men second guess their decisions. It makes them want to prove themselves to you. But this only works if you truly embrace it. If you pull away but secretly wait by your phone, checking for messages, stalking his social media, or hoping for a reaction, you're still giving off the energy of someone who is waiting. And men can sense that. The real shift happens when you genuinely stop caring about whether he notices or not, because that's when he does. Another reason men want what they can't have is because scarcity creates value. Think about luxury brands. They don't beg people to buy their products. They don't flood the market with endless supply. They create exclusivity. The moment something is rare, people want it more. You need to think of yourself the same way. If you're always available, always giving, always accommodating, there's no urgency for a man to step up. But the moment you show that you are not easy to access, that you will not wait around, everything changes. This doesn't mean playing hard to get in a fake way. It means truly knowing your worth and refusing to settle for anything less than effort and commitment. When a man sees that you have standards, that you don't tolerate inconsistency, that you will walk away if you are not valued, he sees you differently. You become a challenge. And for men, challenges are exciting. This is why the best thing you can do when someone is unsure about you is to do nothing at all. Let them feel the weight of losing you. Let them question if they made the right decision. Let them experience what life is like without your energy. Because if you're always the one reminding them of your presence, they never get the chance to miss you. And people don't value what they don't miss. By the time he realizes what he lost, the power is in your hands. If he comes back, it's because he now sees your value. But at that point, the real question is, do you still want him? Because when you move like a woman who is not easily won over, you don't just attract his attention, you attract options. And the moment you realize that you are the prize, you stop worrying about whether he wants you, because you know that if he doesn't, someone better will. Mystery is one of the most powerful tools in attraction, yet so many people overlook it. When a person knows everything about you, when your emotions are predictable, when your next move is obvious, they stop feeling intrigued. The excitement fades. But when you introduce an element of unpredictability, when you create a sense of mystery, suddenly you become someone worth thinking about. When you are dealing with a man who is pulled away or taking you for granted, the last thing you want to do is overshare your emotions or make it obvious that you are struggling without him. This is where many people go wrong. They post sad quotes, try to make him jealous with forced pictures, or constantly check his social media. But all of this screams one thing: I still care. I am still waiting. I still want your attention. And when a man knows he still has you, there's no urgency for him to act. Instead, the best approach is to move in silence. No dramatic posts, no emotional messages, no updates that reveal how you feel. Let him wonder. Let him question what's going on in your life. Is she happy? Is she thinking about me? Has she moved on? That uncertainty is what creates curiosity. When they don't have all the answers, they start looking for them. And if he can't figure out what's happening with you, his mind will keep returning to the question, what is she up to? This is why silence is so powerful. It forces him to acknowledge your absence. Mystery isn't just about what you don't say. It's also about what you choose to share. If you do post on social media, make sure it reflects positivity, growth, and happiness, but in a subtle way. No need for forced selfies or trying too hard to appear like you're having the time of your life. Instead, focus on things that show you are living well. A simple picture of a new hobby, a trip, or a fun night out with friends sends a message without saying too much. It allows him to see that you are moving forward, but it leaves enough to the imagination to make him wonder about the details. Another aspect of mystery is not always being available. If he does reach out, don't respond instantly. Let there be a pause, a space where he has to wonder what you're doing. When you do reply, keep it light and short. No long explanations, no emotional conversations. You are friendly but detached. You don't reveal too much. And most importantly, you never make it seem like you were waiting for his message. This controlled level of distance makes you more intriguing. It signals that you are not desperate for his attention, that you are content in your own world. And nothing attracts a man more than the realization that a woman he once had access to is now a mystery to him. Mystery also works because it shifts the focus. When you stop giving someone all of your attention, you regain control over your emotions. You stop overanalyzing his actions and start prioritizing yourself. And when you genuinely start living your life without worrying about his reactions, that energy shift becomes undeniable. The final key to maintaining mystery is knowing when to walk away for good. If he returns, but he does so with the same half-hearted effort, you don't entertain it. You keep moving, because the truth is, mystery works best when it's backed by real confidence. When you know that you are not playing a game, but simply living a life where you refuse to be taken for granted. By staying mysterious, you give him space to miss you, to wonder about you, and to realize what he lost. And when he finally comes back, it won't be because you begged or chased. It will be because he saw you as something rare, something valuable, something he no longer had easy access to. When a man pulls away and then decides to come back, the worst mistake you can make is to welcome him with open arms as if nothing happened. This is where many women go wrong. They are so happy that he finally reached out, that he finally realized what he lost, that they forget one crucial thing. He needs to earn his place back. If you let him walk in without consequences, without any effort on his part, he will assume he can leave and return whenever he pleases. And that is not the kind of dynamic you want to set. When someone disappears, ignores your worth, or takes you for granted, they have already shown you that they are capable of treating you in a way you did not deserve. So when they come back, the real question isn't just, does he still want me? But rather, what has changed? What is he doing differently? Because without change, history will repeat itself. This is why it's essential to make him earn his place again. He needs to prove that he values you, that he understands your worth, and that he is willing to do the work to regain your trust. And that doesn't happen with a single "I miss you" text. It doesn't happen with a late night call or a half-hearted apology. Words are easy, actions are what matter. So, when he comes back, don't be too eager to respond. Give yourself time to process. How does he approach you? Is he genuinely making an effort? Or is he just testing the waters to see if you're still available? If his message is vague or casual, do not engage emotionally. Keep your responses short and neutral. Let him show you that he is serious about being back in your life. The key here is to shift the dynamic. If he left thinking he had control, thinking that he could come and go as he pleased, then your job is to show him that this time things are different. You are not the same woman who tolerated inconsistency. You are not the same woman who settled for half-hearted effort. If he truly wants to be part of your life again, he has to prove that he deserves that privilege. One of the most effective ways to make him earn his place is to set boundaries. This means clearly defining what you will and will not accept. If he used to be inconsistent, tell him that won't work for you anymore. If he used to take days to respond, but now expects immediate replies from you, take your time. Let him feel what it's like to not have instant access to you. 2. Boundaries communicate self-respect, and a man who genuinely cares will respect them. It's also important to keep your options open. Just because he has returned does not mean he is your only choice. Too often, women put all their energy into a man who has already shown them that he can leave. Instead of immediately prioritizing him, continue to focus on yourself, continue to build your life, and continue to meet new people. Let him see that you are not waiting around, that you have options, that he is not your only source of happiness. This forces him to step up because he realizes that if he does not, someone else will. Another crucial factor is observing his consistency. A man who truly wants to be with you will be consistent in his effort. He will show up, communicate regularly, and prove through his actions that he is serious. If he starts strong but quickly falls back into old patterns, that is your sign that he was never really ready to change. And at that point, you have a choice: continue the cycle or walk away for good. Making him earn his place is not about revenge or playing hard to get. It's about self-respect. It's about recognizing that you are valuable, that you bring a lot to the table, and that access to you is a privilege, not a right. The moment you start carrying yourself with that mindset, the entire dynamic shifts. And if he is truly meant to be in your life, He will rise to the occasion. He will put in the effort. He will prove through actions, not just words, that he sees your worth. And if he doesn't, then you already have your answer. Because a real man doesn't just come back, he comes back correctly. The moment you start truly prioritizing yourself, you realize something powerful. You were never the one who needed to chase, beg, or prove your worth in the first place. The key to making a man come back begging isn't in manipulating him or forcing his hand. It's in embodying a version of yourself that naturally attracts what you deserve. And the most powerful version of yourself is one who knows her value, sets high standards, and refuses to settle for anything less. When a man pulls away, the natural reaction is to question yourself. You wonder what you did wrong, what you could have done differently, and how you can make him see your worth. But the truth is, your worth was never the issue. The real issue is that you were giving too much to someone who wasn't ready to appreciate it. The moment you stop chasing and instead focus on becoming a high-value woman, everything shifts. A high-value woman doesn't beg for attention. She doesn't sit around waiting for a man to realize what he lost. She invests in herself. She builds her life in a way that makes her so fulfilled that a man's presence is a bonus, not a necessity. This is the energy that makes men take notice, because nothing is more attractive than a woman who is so secure in herself that she doesn't need anyone to complete her. This shift starts with self-love, not just the kind where you take bubble baths and say affirmations in the mirror, but the deep, unwavering kind where you set boundaries, demand respect, and refuse to entertain anything that doesn't serve you. You stop over-explaining yourself. You stop accepting breadcrumbs. You stop giving endless chances to someone who has already shown you who they are. Instead, you step into the mindset that you are the prize. And here's the irony. When you fully embrace this mindset, that's when he starts to feel the loss. That's when he realizes that the version of you he took for granted is no longer available to him. The woman who used to respond instantly, she's now too busy living her best life. The woman who used to check his social media and wonder what he's up to, she no longer cares because she's too focused on her own growth. This is when he starts to miss you, not because you begged, but because your absence is now undeniable. Men are wired to value what they have to work for. The moment they feel that they have easy access to you, they take you for granted. But when they sense that you are moving on, that you are unbothered, that you are thriving without them, it triggers something in them. It makes them wonder why they no longer have control over your emotions. And that's when the regret starts creeping in. But here's the real secret. By the time he comes back, you might not even want him anymore. Because once you step into your power, you realize that the kind of love you want isn't one where you have to convince someone to choose you. You realize that the right man will never make you feel uncertain, will never leave you guessing, and will never make you feel like you have to fight for his attention. And that's the most powerful position to be in. Because now, you're no longer chasing, you're choosing. So, and when a man senses that he is no longer your first priority, when he sees that you are thriving without him, he will do whatever it takes to win you back. But by then, the real question isn't whether he wants you, it's whether you still want him. Because once you see your true worth, you stop settling for half-hearted love. You stop hoping that someone will change. Instead, you stand in your power, knowing that the right person will never need to be convinced to stay. That is what truly makes a man come back begging. Not games, not manipulation, but the undeniable reality that you have outgrown the version of yourself that once tolerated less than you deserve. And once you reach that point, you'll realize that you were the prize all along.